Bienvenidos a la asesoría virtual de la etapa 3 de Inglés Progresivo 2. En esta etapa vamos a ver los verbos modales, así como sus usos para diferentes situaciones de la vida cotidiana. Además, en la sección de vocabulario vamos a ver los señalamientos de tránsito, así como los deberes y obligaciones y algunos instrumentos musicales. Esperamos sea de tu ayuda.
Okay, let's start with lesson 1. Fix it, please. You can follow the activities on page 108 and 9 in your Go Strong book. The first topic is imperatives. They are used when you want to tell somebody to do something, like an order, an instruction, also a warning. You can use them. In all the sentences, if they are affirmative or negative, you need to use the base form. The base form is the natural form of the verb without anything. In the affirmative form, you cannot use the subject, that's why it's crossed. You're gonna start using the base form, followed by the complement, like this example. Pass will be the base form, meet the sal please complement. Just, if you add please at the end, it's only to sound more polite. When you have a negative form, the same. You cannot use the subject, but you need to start using don't. That will be the auxiliary for the negative forms when it comes to imperatives. Every single time you are going to use don't. It doesn't matter that you have any situation, you are going to use don't. Followed by the base form and the complement, like here. Don't use your cell phone in class. The auxiliary, base form, complement. Don't eat inside the classroom. Don't run in the stairs. Don't go out late. In the lesson 2, what should I do? We're going to start using vocabulary related to relationships. The same, you have activities on page 110 and 11 for you to follow us, please. And you have the first activity. In here, you need to match the columns to get the words with the definitions. So meanwhile we're reading this, you're going to be answering this, and at the end I'm going to show you the answers. Spoken dispute between people, so that will be like an argument. Acting younger than your age, that will be about behavior. Something you have agreed to marry with someone, that will be a person. Former girl or boyfriend, that will be the formal one. Decide not to stay together anymore, that will be separating, somebody that is going to separate. Socialize together as a boyfriend or girlfriend, that will be dating, hanging out. Have spoken fights with other person, the same, this is quite related to the first one, an argument. Feel possessive and overprotective, kind of jealousy. Feel confident and believing in a person. So the last ones, as you can see, they are related to feelings. I'm going to show you the answers now for you to compare. And there you are. That will be letters C, E, F, A, I, H, G, D, and B. Let's continue with the next. In the lesson 2, we're going to see the modal verbs should and shouldn't. In here, you need to remember that you're going to use them when you want to give somebody a piece of advice, a suggestion. So in the affirmative form, you're going to start using the subject. It doesn't matter which one is it, I, you, he, she, it, doesn't matter the person. Every single time you're going to use should when it's affirmative form. And this is like a golden rule, you need to use the base form. It doesn't matter the modal you have, the whole time you're going to use the base form. And you're going to finish using the complement. Like in the example, you, that will be the subject, you should invite, base form, you should invite her to the movies. This is a suggestion. When you have a negative suggestion, a negative piece of advice, you need to use shouldn't. Obviously, in some cases, we have negative suggestions like, tomorrow we have an exam, so you shouldn't go out. In here, we have an example that says, you shouldn't drink cold drinks. Maybe the person has some sore throat, and that's why this is not a good idea. In lesson 3, we have vocabulary related to road signs. Follow the activities on page 112 and 13, please. Here they are. The first one is when you make a U-turn. So this is something that you can do. Stop, so you need to stop the car. The speed bumps on the road, well, this means that if you are going faster, so this is a sign for you to like diminish the speed you are driving, because this is coming and then your tires are gonna get damaged. That's why. Well, this is the one, the speed limit. They are gonna say the speed limit in which you need to drive. And in this one, you can't make a U-turn. So this is the contrary of the first one, as you can see. The next one is saying that there is gonna be a construction ahead. The next one you have turn left. So this is something that you can do. Well, in here you can't honk the horn. Maybe it's a hospital near. So this is like something you cannot do. The same at not parking. This is saying that a pedestrian crossing is coming, it's ahead, so you need to be more careful and you need to diminish the speed. The next one, traffic lights ahead, the same. Maybe if you're in a highway, well, obviously you don't have traffic lights, but if you're like entering the city, so they're gonna be appearing near. Go straight, well, in this one you need to continue straight, so you don't have turns in either side. The next one is quite confusing. This is don't stop, so you need to continue. This is the contrary of this one, stop. And the last one is saying that it's a dead end coming, so you need to stop driving. With the road signs, you can use the topics can and can't, and this is to express abilities. Like in the affirmative form, where you have the subject followed by can't and the base form, the golden rule I mentioned. And you finish with the complement. So people, drivers, can turn right at a red light. So they are doing this, they can do this with obviously caution. They need to be paying attention to all the things that are happening. In the negative form, you have the subject, you have can't, so this is the difference. You continue using the base form and the complement. So people can't drive without wearing a seatbelt. So this is something that you need to do. That's why people can't without the seatbelt. Lesson 4, you have vocabulary about duties and obligations on page 114 and 15 for you to follow us. And here you have an activity, so you need to complete the sentences using the words that we are giving you. In this section that you have the baby or the dog, maybe it's something that you need to do for them. So, which is the one you think it is? The clothes, the children to school, the children from school, so this is different to and from, lunch, dinner, homework or some exercise, to go out, to go to work, the children, a party. So let me show you the answers for you to compare. Feed the baby or the dog. Iron the clothes. Take the children to school. So you are taking them to the school. And this is when the class is finished, you are gonna pick them up. Prepare lunch or dinner, it's like cooking. Do the homework, do exercise. Get ready. So you maybe like dressing and grabbing all your stuff that you need. Look after the children, so taking care, that will be the meaning, and organize a party. Well, with that topic, you are gonna use them with the vocabulary and grammar have to and don't have to. In the affirmative form, the usage will be when you want to express an obligation, something that you have to do. And in the negative form is something that is not necessary. In here we have a difference, that's why we decided to include the subjects. Depending on the subject will be the modal verb you're gonna use. So you say, I have to, you have to. But if it's negative, you need to use don't have to. The one that is gonna change is the third person. He, she, and it has to. The negative form doesn't, so pay attention to this. As you already used the yes here, doesn't, the next one, it's gonna be in base form. So it is not okay to say doesn't has. So you need to say doesn't have to, followed by the base form. And the last one, the plural ones, we, you, and they, you're gonna use have to and don't have to. As you can see, the only one that is changing is the third person. All of them use the base form, so this is the golden rule, and the complement. So the example given says, I have to do the homework, that's an obligation. And in here, negative form, I don't have to do the homework because I already did it in class, so that's not necessary, you already did it. She has, so this is a change, third person. She has to wash the dishes, an obligation. She doesn't have to wash the dishes. Maybe the mother already washed them. So let's continue. This is a different modal verb, must and mustn't. In here, the difference is that when you use must, is when you have a rule. It's a stronger obligation. So instead of expressing an obligation, that will be a rule, something that you must do. When it's a negative form, it's something that you can't. It's a prohibition. The difference here is that it doesn't matter the subject. With all of them, you're going to use must and mustn't, followed by the base form, that will be the golden rule, and the complement. I must wear a uniform. So with the rules, obviously you have stronger consequences. If you don't wear the uniform, maybe they don't let you enter to the high school, so that's why it's a rule. Negative form, a prohibition. So I mustn't smoke in hospitals, obviously, because they are treating sick people, so that's something that you can do. Okay, in this activity you need to complete the sentences using the vocabulary. So I'm gonna be giving you the answers, so I'm gonna stop some seconds for you to analyze. The first one says, we have of applications for the piano for beginner courses. Plenty. Which from the 1st of August until the middle of October. Runs. Be careful about believing in everything John tells you. He is very and can often say the opposite of what he thinks just to try to be funny. So you need an adjective here. Sarcastic. The local college, course information in August. Sends out like giving. But due to a postal strike, many people didn't receive it and didn't enroll in time. I really wanted to make an apple pie last night, but I didn't have all the necessary ingredients. I will make it this evening when I get some sugar and flour. I took a course on the design and construction of log cabins, but was very dissatisfied. The teachers weren't professional architects, but just keen amateurs. So this is the opposite thing. So when they don't have a lot of experience. That course looks really interesting, but I don't want to commit myself to such a long course. It lasts for over 5 months. My aunt's house is in the country is full of antiques. She has this one table which has been valued at over $10,000, so it's like all things they collect. The next topic is the modal could and would. The difference is that you're going to use could to express a possibility or ability in the past, and you're going to use would when you want to express a desire, opinion, or hope. So you need to complete the sentences using the correct option. The first one says, Tommy fixed his car, but he doesn't have the tools. Could. I like to travel to Paris in May. It has been my dream for ages. So every single time that you have like followed by the full form, you need to use would. Your best friend is French. You improve your French faster. You could. So this is a possibility, obviously, if you have a French friend, so you can improve it. Number 4, where you go if you decided to travel around the world. So this is a conditional form. Second conditional because you have the past. I don't think Mark liked to buy the same like this one. This house would. How many books you read per day when you were a child? So this is an ability in the past. The lesson 6, this is the last one. We have vocabulary about musical instruments on page 118 and 19. And here they are. You need to complete the missing letters. So we're giving you clues. The first one, this is a piano. This is a one that is kind of modern. This is modern. The keyboard. This is quite common. It's missing only this. The next one, you only have tambourine, T and E, tambourine. This is common, violin. In here only missing O, P, H, O. In here, trumpet, bagpipes. So this is quite similar to Spanish, only these letters missing. Also common, S, double bass. Maybe this is the most difficult one. So which one do you think it is? B, banjo. Like in Spanish. Then you have triangle. This is common, the drums and the cello. Well, for the last part, don't forget to answer the homework in your learning guide to complete with the learning process. You need to answer the dimension 1, dimension 2, and dimension 3. Here you have the pages. And in your Go Strong, you need to complete the self-study 1 to self-study 6. There you have the pages for you to practice the topics we already covered. The last part that it's very important for you to work with is the Nexus evidence. It's a written report. You're gonna do it in teams. In this activity, you will continue with the next phase of your toy or game prototype. So you need to build it. You need to describe how you build it and mention the materials you use to create it. Just remember to include some images to illustrate the work. So meanwhile you're working on that, you need to be taking photos because you're going to use it in this one. Type it in a Word document and you're going to upload it to Nexus platform.
Y este sería todo el contenido de la etapa 3. Solo para retomar los temas. En los verbos modales, los modales can y can se utilizan para habilidades. El modal should se utiliza para consejos o sugerencias. Los modales must y mustn't representan reglas y prohibiciones. Además, el modal would se utiliza para deseos, así como have to y don't have to, que se utilizan para obligaciones o falta de necesidad. Esperamos esta información haya sido de tu agrado para resolver todas tus dudas que tengas. Muchas gracias.